Numbers from a few years ago show that men have about 4 to 8 partners in their lifetime, meaning the vast majority of men lack dating experience. And this is probably the cause of most of the friction in the dating world. But let's say you had a guaranteed 1,000 women that were willing to go out with you. Do you know how much would change in your life? Well, let's break it down with some evidence. First of all, the success of getting that many women would alter your brain. Because if you didn't know, success works like a pretty decent antidepressant. So you would immediately notice that you feel better the majority of the time, which would make it easier for you to focus mentally. And it makes perfect sense when you know what stress does to men. For example, it can cause weight gain, unhealthy eating, and obviously lead you into heart attack city, which is a tragedy because in reality, all you needed was a little bit of booty. See, all that dating glory would switch up the chemistry in your brain in a positive way. Now, another side effect would be the feeling that you have full control of your life, which should come as no surprise to anyone who's ever had a serious winning streak. It literally feels like the universe is carrying you to victory. I mean, it's to the point where you feel like you can't lose. And there is actual science to back it up. You, my friend, are more likely to make a better decision when you're in a good mood. And women actually play a big part in that. Just look how crazy people get when they've been alone for too long. Isn't that some crazy stuff? Now, if it was going to be 1,000 women, you have to make sure that they come from every background and every culture you can find, because that's the only way you'd see a true benefit. Just think about the saying about magicians not showing the same trick twice. That saying exists because you'd quickly figure out how the trick is done. And the same can be said about dating. You, my friend, would be able to see what they all have in common. You would probably be able to guess exactly what your date is about to say. I mean, guys, just think about how many times you've heard a woman tell you that she's nothing like some of the other girls that you used to mess with, even though she is exactly like all the girls you used to mess with. It's almost to the level of cliche. But one of the biggest benefits you'd see would be the snowball effect of all these other women seeing you as attractive, because nothing makes you more desirable than other people desiring you. And trust me, I've seen some absolutely horrible people dating some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. It's almost as if they ignore all the red flags just to be able to say that they got him over another girl. But you, my friend, would have to start turning down all types of women because word would spread quickly about you. I mean, women have a communication pipeline, and it's filled with gossip and mystery, which would only further your legacy. And again, it comes as no surprise when you know that 93% of human behavior is predictable. Now, an unexpected side effect would be your ability to budget, because the average date runs around $97. And if you were going to do 1,000 of those, you could see how quickly it would add up. So you would have to find a way to do some very cheap dates. And after some trial and errors, you'd see what works. Now, I, for one, still advocate cooking something at home, because ain't no way I'm going to pay for something I can make at the crib. Have you seen all this inflation? I'm sorry, but we gonna eat at my house. Now, that would also lead you to the reality of how important money is. And if you doubt me, just know that 97% of women say that finances falls into the most important category. So in better words, they ain't dealing with no broke people. But as someone who dated 1,000 people, you'd quickly know that. And you'd probably immediately get on your grind, creating multiple streams of income. Now, if you're also the type to look for a wife, you'd have yourself the pick of the litter, because 28% of women believe in love at first sight. So a decent amount of them would be down for anything, including marrying someone like you. And this is pretty good for you to know, even though I've never seen a happy marriage. But to each their own. Now, obviously, repetition is the father of learning. So you would technically be in a class of your own, because not only would you be able to quickly read the room, you'd become pretty darn funny, because you'd have a lot of practice. But at the end of the day, I have to ask, would you really want to date 1,000 women? And if you did, the only way you'd be able to pull it off is by equipping yourself with more knowledge. So do yourself a favor and click on that video that just popped up, and I'll see you on the next one.